It's so strategic. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security, and Denmark is not going to be able to do it.
12 months ago, Greenland felt like a blip on a map for Americans. But now, the vast, sparsely populated, mineral-rich island located between the Arctic and the North Atlantic is in President Trump's sights as he continues to be fixated on taking control of Greenland. From heightened rhetoric on its importance to national security, to memes posted on official White House accounts, the possibility Trump makes a move sooner rather than later to take control appears increasingly likely. So why is the president seemingly obsessed with the idea of the US owning the Arctic island? Well, for starters, the main draw for Trump is all about location, location, location. Now, Greenland is positioned between the US and Russia and has for decades been seen as strategically important for maritime and Arctic security. Now, although it's only home to about 57,000 people, it sits close to the emerging Arctic shipping routes that's becoming more important as rapidly melting ice creates new opportunities for quick shipping commerce compared to the Suez Canal. It also sits beside the Greenland-Iceland-UK Gap, or better known as the GI-UK Gap, which is a naval choke point linking the Arctic and the North Atlantic, and a prime location for NATO to monitor Russian naval movements in the region. Let's rewind almost 80 years. It's important to note that this isn't the first time a US president has wanted control of the Arctic island. If you go back as far back as World War II, Greenland has been seen as critical to the defense of North America. During the war, the US occupied the island to prevent it from falling into German hands and to protect crucial shipping lanes to Europe. But even now, the US still operates a base there, which is known as the Pituffik Space Base, which was built after the US and Denmark signed a treaty in 1951. It supports missile warning, missile defense, and space surveillance operations for the US and NATO. But for the US, moves by China and Russia in the region are still deeply concerning. Now, the president made it clear last Friday from the White House, issuing yet another ominous warning. Let's take a listen.
But right now, we are going to do something on Greenland, whether they like it or not, because if we don't do it, Russia or China will take over Greenland, and we're not going to have Russia or China as a neighbor.
Now, while some may roll their eyes at Trump, it's true that Russia is increasing its military presence in the Arctic. Since 2005, Moscow has reopened numerous Soviet-era bases in the region, as well as increasing its naval power. We also know during the Cold War, the Arctic was largely seen as an area of international cooperation. But as the Arctic ice thins and new economy opportunities arise, it has once again reignited competition with Russia, China, and other countries over access to the region's mineral resources. In 2018, China declared itself a near-Arctic state in an effort to gain more influence in the region. It's also announced plans to build a polar Silk Road as part of its broader effort to create economic links with other countries around the world. And Russia, for its part, has sought to assert its influence in the Arctic, bringing into competition with the US, China, Denmark, as well as Norway, and Moscow has boosted its military presence in the region as well. Its attraction for shipping, despite the ice and limited infrastructure, is a recent phenomenon. While northern sea routes were only once passable in summer months, a Russian commercial vessel put together with an icebreaker successfully traversed the route in February 2021, proving it was possible. Since then, more Russian and Chinese vessels have sailed the northern routes repeatedly, and the growing relationship between Russia and China to grow its influence in the region isn't lost on Europe either. On Sunday, NATO's Europe commander warned that Russia and China are working together in the Arctic and their presence will be a growing threat to NATO allies. And as we know, Trump isn't the first president to be interested in Greenland, and 2 American administrations have already failed in efforts to acquire it. But the situation is more complex, right? In 1953, the island was made part of Denmark, even though it was given control of most of its domestic policies in 1979. Any effort to secure it now would bring the US into a direct challenge with the government in Copenhagen, who is a NATO ally and has repeatedly said that the island is not for sale. But for now, the administration doesn't seem concerned with what NATO members think about the president's power play in the region. Over the course of the past year, many Republicans have even brushed off Trump's comments as nothing serious at first. But the president is known to be a wild card, quickly shifting gears onto something new. But after almost a year of talk about taking over Greenland, some Republicans are jumping at the chance to get in the president's good graces by showing full support. This week, Florida Republican Congressman Randy Fine introduced a bill to make Greenland the 51st state. The Greenland Annexation and Statehood Act was introduced Monday, and the bill's goals include enabling the annexation and subsequent admission to statehood of Greenland. While it's safe to say this bill will not receive much support in Congress, it is clear that an attempt to take control of the island is a real possibility.